morning, Nigeria, and I make you welcome to the first um, show for the month today, the month of March 2026. Very so excited to have everyone join us today, wherever it is you're watching or streaming from around the world. We say welcome to Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television from our corporate headquarters in Lagos State, Nigeria. I am Henry.
And I'm Kendi Bordering.
So let's get started. Today, very interesting episode we have today, of course, coming with newspapers, headlines from there, and we would equally go to our main conversation also for today. Do well to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can reach us when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. Very so honored to have joining us virtually is Barrister Samson. He is a barrister at law public affairs analyst, and he joins us from Canada. Thank you so very much, Barrister, for being here. We truly do appreciate you.
Welcome, sir.
Good morning. Thank you.
All right. So let's kickstart today with our dailies. Today we have 4 newspapers to get going this morning, and we have the Vanguard, we have the Daily Trust, the Punch, and
you said the Punch. Okay, Vanguard, Daily Trust, the Guardian, and the Punch.
All right, so let's start with the Daily Trust newspaper for today. Big story: Iran strike fallout. Shiite protest erupt in northern Nigeria.
Okay, on the top strip we may not be able to achieve 100% perfect election, and this is coming from Amupitan.
And we have chaos at Lagos Abuja airports as Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, that is FAN, begins a cashless policy.
Okay, we also have banditry, over 300,000 displaced in Nigeria. This is coming from Bago. And under that, we have terrorists kill 15 in fresh attacks.
And also we have the stories from the top strip: 4 die in Katsina. Ramadan arms stampede.
Wow.
But Barrister, let's kickstart today with what we have going on around the world. We have truly, time is really going past us, to be exact. And would you ever have believed, the Barrister, that the Supreme Leader would be taken out just the way he had been taken out?
It took everybody by surprise. Even though we've seen how Iran has been a source, or a very strong source of terrorism across the globe, from the Middle East down to both actual terrorism, open sponsorship of terrorism, several conduct and acts that violates the UN charters, the respective charters on human rights and peacekeeping and peace across the globe. We've seen how that America had cautioned repeatedly, for a very long time on the issue, and what Iran, the government, stood for or stands for, and that a huge chunk of the people actually do not support what the government stands for. Okay, and on several occasions they have reached out to America to help them to reclaim their country. So if you look at the broadcast that Trump gave yesterday, you see how 2 days ago rather, you see the expression of a long-standing issue of that has made that area of the world so cantankerous. And because a lot is tied to this economically too, we're going to be seeing the economic effects days from now and all that. So there are proponents who say America is doing the right thing by saying that none of this country must have nuclear weapons, okay, because it's not safe in their hands. The world is not safe, allowing them to have nuclear weapons and the rest of that. So for me, I think that what Trump is trying to do, or what he has done, is within the scope of international law. It falls within the scope of what is required when you have a threat to world peace, when you have threat to humanity. And in the manner at which it came, there is always going to be resistance because America stands for something, and that thing they stand for is exactly what Trump is executing.
Yes, but Barrister, you talked about world threat, and do you think the attack on Iran is verifiable? Remember, United States had gone for Iraq before because they thought there were weapons of mass destruction. At the end, we discovered there were not ever weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. So do you think this is a repeat of mistake done at the time by the President of the United States?
Well, it may not be outrightly different, but the question you ask yourself is, does Iran have it or not? If they don't, if they do, is the world safe in their hands with their conduct and all that? So it may not be different from what has happened before, but it's not even the existence or otherwise of the nuclear weapon. It is the leaning of the government, the philosophy of the government. Is the government neutral? Is the government pro-terrorism? Or does it support the issue of terror across the globe, as it were? Or does it stand against it? Okay? What exactly is the economic, political ideology of the country on that reference? What do they stand for and the rest? So this America can be faulted on several lines, okay? Because sometimes when they set out there to correct a problem or to correct a wrong, they end up adding to the problem. Okay, that I know. That is clear. Okay. But on the issue on that reference calls for that search. It calls for that vigilance, okay? Yeah. And so that's why there are persons who will never agree with you that America has gone wrong in what it did. There are persons, there are schools of thought who also believe that America actually went beyond and went overboard, okay? So that is how the conversation is.
Okay. Okay, I think we'll just take another story since Barrister has done justice to this one. So let's look at chaos at Lagos Abuja Airport as FAAN begins cashless policy. When I saw this news, I was like, what is really going on? Is it that they want to turn everything right now to a cashless, they want to have this cashless policy, right? So Barrister, please, I would like to have your take on this issue. Being that you're a legal practitioner, you're a barrister, so I will just put this to you, sir. Can FAAN, that's FAAN, enforce cashless payments? Do they have the right?
Were we doing cash payment before? Well, when I saw the news, I don't even understand what the news is about, the news item is about. Most transactions with FAAN, they are cashless now. It's just that there's an option for cash. Yeah. There's an option, but if they are going totally cashless, I mean, what you do, your interaction with FAAN is not transfers you make.
It is.
Or you use your ATM card or whatever payment platform you do. That's largely what Nigerians do with FAAN. Maybe this news is saying that option of cash that existed before has been completely eliminated, and that in itself can be eliminated even without a policy, because the citizens have already embraced the cashless policy in so many dimensions, in so many areas. You understand?
Yes, sir.
There are people that when was the last time you saw bulk money, or when was the last time you withdrew bulk money and put in your bag and start to spend it one after the other? So I don't know. Maybe that story have a deeper strain. But from the surface value, the economy has already gone beyond what that story is talking about.
All right.
Yes, very true. And just to give a quick update on that, the cashless policy that's been referred to is the toll that's usually collected by vehicles as they go past before they enter, entry and exit of the airport. So, before now, you give out
okay.
your cash. Yes, you give out your cash and they collect. But now, for accountability, actually, they're asking for e-payment.
Yes, okay, yeah. That's why I was asking. That's why I was asking. Cashless in what area?
Exactly.
Yes, because I know that the tolls they collect it, and they hand over one receipt to you, and that receipt is not properly serially numbered.
Not accounted for.
Yes, so between when they collect that money and when it gets into the coffer, there's a lot of pilferage that happens, and those pilferage cannot be accounted for. But if you make it online or you digital congestion beginning, it's better so that you're able to account for the money on that reference. So I think it's a
Hello, Barrister, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so let's hope that the long queue on that stretch will be taken out because it's very important. That sector of the economy is quite important. But let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper for a bit. We have straight to the talking point, Barrister. This actually brings us, or takes us back to the U.S., Israel, and Iran trouble. U.S.-Iran war. IGP orders security beef up as Shiites protest in Niger. Barrister, Muslims in Iran are predominantly Shiites. Muslims in Nigeria are predominantly Sunnis. A situation where there is this protest by Shiites, the pockets of them we have here in Nigeria. Do you think it makes any sort of sense, really, knowing that the Shiites in Nigeria had always been in loggerhead with the federal government since Muhammad Buhari's era?
Yes. In the case of reference, the federal government did not take out their leader, what they believe in. The government that it was the United States did that. So why protesting here? I don't know why they had to protest here. If you take a flight to the United States to protest, that's what they ought to do. If protesting to go back, if it's necessary. I mean, to protest on our streets, if it's not the way, it's their human rights to protest. You know, the issue on that reference, they have not even solved their hunger problem. They are going to a deeper issue, an issue of global politics, global economy, and global safety. It's to be on this train of protest. How many, even countries in the Middle East that are so active, how many of them have taken protests out there just because the issue happened? What that is emotions, because anything that touches on religion is very sensitive. Okay, we know how they feel. That may not be the best of time then, but at the same time, should not also allow activities here because it does not want it. It shouldn't disrupt activity here. Whatever is going on there, they can look at it, analyze it their way, pray for the disease, and see how they can go intervention, and that is it. But it's okay that protests have not been violent. From what I've seen and read, it's been a procession. So the IGP did the right thing by beefing up security to curtail. That's the right thing to do, and monitor the situation as it progresses.
Peace would be restored in that area. Yes.
Okay, based on what is happening over there, could this spread nationwide? Could this, escalate more, not just in Niger? Could we have this nationwide, maybe strike? Yeah.
Yeah, it cannot be nationwide because Nigeria is an Islamic state.
Yeah.
And this is not the first thing happening. And there are several issues.
Okay.
in other countries, in Middle East, that spread down here. You know, the one who won't like to serialize okay, where there's somebody born to the Quran to wear fast. Before you know it, during the Islam's era, I think it was 2012. Before you know it, there was in Kano and some other places. So this is not quite exactly like that because the infraction isn't coming from anybody connected to the Nigerian hemisphere. You are going to protest. The protest is supposed to be against whoever carried out that action. Even if it is in our soil, against whoever carried out that shouldn't be a
Can you? Yes, we can't.
All right.
Can you hear him?
Okay, so let's move on to another story. We have the PIA host communities demand a 13% derivation share. Barrister, PIA host communities demand a 13% derivation share. What do you think is happening here? If every community is demanding for 13% share of what is gotten off their land, do you think we won't come to a situation where almost every community in Nigeria is demanding for share? Because if you take a deep look into it, almost every community has something they might be contributing to the federal government.
Yes, there's a need to always look that issue of community reservation of races. There's the percentage that will go to community. We know the Petroleum Act does not deal with mineral, it deals with petroleum. Okay. So every resources that is drawn from any other location, they should amend those different acts to also allocate whatever it is that should be the custodian, okay, a fraction. It's just that our main address that one. Other areas, other things, okay, that we earn foreign exchange from, that is found in some locations. Those locals have a right. They have a right to ask for something extra on their own community, and it's not a bad thing, to say the least. So as much as we try to expand the scope of our operations as a country, so there's a need to look into the communal allocations of resources for those who are bearing communities, those who are bearing community resources. It's only us to do that, and it's done all over the world, and it's important we have it done.
Yeah, Barrister, I want us to look at it from the legal side of it, and this has to do with the judicial option of it. So I just want to ask this: can court enforce payments even if they keep asking? Do you think courts can enforce the payment?
Court can enforce payment, yes. Why not? As long as you are asking for compensatory rights.
All right.
It's just like under the Land Act. The law says that if your land is taken from you, okay, the compensation, that's one option, or the government should relocate you, okay, relocate you to another land or pay compensation so that you can use the compensation to acquire another property, okay? That's the same thing that applies. So the court can, if you take it through the right channel and ask for equity, okay? The court, what it does is what the court will look at and then enforce it. It's just that in Nigeria, the government allows things to deteriorate many times. They don't really address issues the way they ought to address them. In Lagos State, for example, they took land away from people in the Woroshoki. I have a case now with Lagos State government. I have a case filed this week or next week with the Lagos State government for taking land that belongs to people who have been there for about 40, 30 years, 40, 50 years. They've been there. You came there, you took this property, they lose this property. You have not paid to them. So I don't know why government like to create problems where none naturally exist. If you call them together and locate them, or you pay them a bit compensation for them to get properties, go and get some sense themselves. But to just only shout to
Okay, so just before we wind down for this particular segment, my last question to you, Barrister, and this on the story, making a steal from the Guardian newspaper on the downstream here. Presidency dismisses Tinubu's poisoning allegation footage. Barrister, I know it is the prerogative of the government to defend its own and try as much as they can to refute issues like this, not to make citizenry feel some sort of way. But do you think this might be true to some quarters? Because, of course, we know there's no smoke without fire.
Sorry, can I get the question? I didn't get the question.
So the question is, President dismisses Tinubu's poisoning allegation. So there's this footage going round where it was alleged that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was just about to be poisoned by his kitchen staff member. And the big question is, as much as the government tries to refute allegations not to look bad, do you think in this case there might be some sort of truth that would come with it?
Yeah, if this is an investigation, I know that the president, the president's kitchen staff, okay, at the Aso Rock, okay, is a very digitalized space where you have CCTV cameras, where you have strict surveillance, and the president do past circle, and they fall within the best of his own people whom he trusts. Okay, so if there's an infiltration or someone is trying to do something, okay, the investigation will reveal CCTV footage and other means of surveillance. We reveal that. So if you don't want to talk about this crime, they don't want to talk about it, then they throw it just leave open. Just like the coup. Yeah. When in October there was no celebration, people were asking questions. Why were there no celebration? The government just said no, they want to in a low key and all that, not knowing that a coup was planned then that was to be happened. The government, they didn't want to talk about it. It later came out. So this one, well, I'm not saying it's the same thing, but if it's ever true, it's better the government deal with it the way it ought to do that, and make sure they address the issue, because sometimes when these issues like most probable, but the government may not want to be invested in it. I mean, they may not want to be quoted, so they allow rumors to take over the structure. And rumors taking over transfer is not even the best. Nature above vacuum, where you cannot be restored out, the rumor will take over. And rumor will lead to multiple counts of one end. And at the end of the day, you don't know which one to believe. Government needs to
think there's a
I think
network
we're
issue
having
here.
a bit of a network challenge there. The barrister, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so we would call it a wrap for this segment. And just before we do that, we wish the president well. He remains the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and as patriots and as Nigerians, it is our responsibility to wish him well. And on behalf of Enterprise Television, we wish President Bola Tinubu well. So when we return, INEC admits real-time result challenges ahead of 2027 elections. In a bit, still Enterprise Morning. Don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back.
Thank you so very much for being back. And if you just joined us, Enterprise Morning, it is reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our conversation for today. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Joash Amupitan, has assured Nigerians that the commission has the capacity to electronically transmit election results during the 2027 general elections. However, he cautioned that the commission cannot guarantee a completely perfect election. Amupitan made this statement during the Citizens Town Hall program aired on national television and moderated by Seun Okinbaloye alongside Samson, Itodo of Yiaga, Africa.
Very true. Now, the key political and civic figures present included Nentawe Yilwatda, Nenadi Usman, Oby Ezekwesili, and Ireti Kingibe. He urged Nigerians to manage expectations, explaining that while INEC will strive to deliver credible elections, perfection may not yet be achievable. According to him, the Commission strongly supported mandatory electronic transmission of results in the Electoral Act 2026, though defining real-time in court transmission remains a challenge.
And also, Amupitan cited the recent Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections where poor terrain and limited network coverage delayed results from Kabi ward until the next day. He stressed that transmission itself, it's not the main issue. Rather, the challenge lies in inadequate network infrastructure in remote areas. He also emphasized the voters' education and transparency, echoing Abraham Lincoln that ballots are the lifeblood of democracy. Let's get talking. Barrister Felix still with us. Thank you so very much, Barrister, for hanging on. Yes. So, Barrister, I would love to go a little bit personal on this. Amupitan, SAN professor, used to be your lecturer. And I would love to believe the first time we introduced him on the show when he was given the position, you eulogized him. Now, many months after, what's your stand right now? Are you still good with what you started with the first time you were giving him all the praises?
Yes, it is an actual expectations. It's only right. It's only those not much you can do with the willingness of the field to have this election free and fair and without this. Being a Nigerian and knowing the people working with it, there's no going to be 100% perfect. The Nigerians should just have their expectations. I'm not the wrong thing to say. It doesn't to those who want 100% transmission, 100% everything, just like you. Like who said then that there's going to be last night, you know, I told you that there's going to be free election. I don't know whether the mayor professor you the former chair said situation captured that time. In fact, at the level of what is In fact, that one, the election, just went out there and votes were sold. And Yar'Adua emerged. So Yar'Adua emerged said that they should have super law. Okay. So I don't have any house of course, as I told you before. I don't have any doubt. But the days to come will also strengthen my argument or weaken it. Okay? The way you go about handling elections, that's strengthening argument weaken it. Okay? And Nigerians are hopeful. Everyone should be hopeful. Okay, that we are going to get at least something better than what happened. Okay, except that the electoral activities and the last amendment has created more uncertainty than before, because this time going to be determined by so forces and so many uncertainties. And these uncertainties been placed solely in hands of party, what you call network. Okay. Who control network? That's a third party, don't see that. Okay. If you don't work on this network, there may be a problem. They too are more practically principled to ensure that the technology doesn't fail. And we know about Ghana, 100% member election, where human affairs take over status. There's human affairs that is more, the system is corrupt or corroded. Because many of the people go out on the day of elections. Many of them require to survive. Many of them want to use the election to become wealthy. That's why they have been in time, not a quest. They never reach. Because if you do that, only process becomes significantly very organized. Way out of our you need to think again. Because the lot and voices of millions of Nigerians who by action that are elected, who don't care votes, who don't care about public, who don't care about any of the way they emerge and they seek justice, and people are dying, but people are honest. There's no policy, there's no governance, there's no politics. Their voice, they are suffering. I've reached out to them, and justice follow those who, have this impression, but they don't have what elections. So if people view this from an angle, do the right, it's not going to cause them to offend. It's not cause someone to offend. Yesterday, I read Obasanjo's letter. The letter was sent to the board, and he made very strong emotional statements. Very strong emotional statement. As one thing, it's not even to buy, they are going to go leave this food. Came with nothing, you all materialization were planning in place to show off, to do all this sorry here and there. We will leave behind the degrees, certificates, what you sold, what you bought, money you collected, you will die a bit. You understand?
Yes.
But But what will define your life there is you will not allow to come to human constitution. And that they come to human constitution, what you're telling them there is that you should vote. You want to vote. That's what you, that will use your life to. You want self-vote and you bought vote. Now you have come judgment. You know, so the waste is the kind of waste philosophy, the waste of the power. Now you know the right in a fixed country, 200 million plus. It's not too population that cannot stay. The option is taking a quick understanding. Let's science. Let's repeat. Let's simplify. Stop from the video experiences and the video impression. Till these people is who can act. The people who care to be there at all. And then who are in the open, the local here, also action. These things are possible. They are possible.
Okay, in as much as we're all clamoring for a free and fair elections, do you think we would have a perfect elections come 2027 general election?
I didn't know that they are actually saying that Nigerian climate, but there's going to be honest sense. The US election, last election, one trials, one more, so, but that's one of the most affected about that. Now, I need to see that it's not just part of it, have very balanced step. Okay.
Yeah.
But politics should advance. Nigeria should have risen to that level.
Nigerians should have risen to that level,
yeah.
Barrister. But a situation where a professor of law is already throwing in the towel even before going into the fight. Don't you think that is in itself an indictment?
Are you still there?
Are you still there? All right, I think we have a bit of a glitch there in communication. I'd love to believe Barrister will join us back, and so we can get talking on some of the big things happening in Nigeria, especially with regards to elections and electioneering in Nigeria. Remember, we are currently with the Fourth Republic, and the democracy we enjoy today is about 27 years old, and it's our desire that it would continue. And the best way it would do that is when we have a free, fair, and credible elections. How much of that would we get? That's the big question. When the president, who is equally a participant of the election, is the one to bring in who would be the umpire, the referee of the game, would we have a free, fair, and credible election with Amupitan being brought in by the president, who has a skin in the game? Barrister, are you back?
I think there was something the Barrister said when he notified us that we as Nigerians should keep hoping. Okay.
I think Barrister is back. Thank you so very much for being back. Sorry for the glitch there. So I'd love you to finish on your thoughts so we can move on to... Hello, Barrister, are you there? Okay, so we'll get him. So you said something?
Yeah, I
can't
said...
hear you. I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Barrister, I was asking Amupitan, a professor of law who should know better, don't you think that throwing in the towel at this point is an indictment? Because he said that 2027 might not be a perfect election. What's your take on that?
I can't hear you.
Did you get that, barrister?
I can't hear you.
Okay, we still have a bit
I
of
lost him.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that he said barrister was saying that if only we as citizens, we should hope to have like a free, fair, and credible elections. But then, you know, the question that keeps ringing in our minds, okay, are we really going to have like a free, fair, and credible elections, right? So now with the change of things, you know, having a new INEC chairman, and also there's this word I don't want to use. You know, there was time we protested about bringing like electoral transmission, electronic transmission. Now, do you think with all of this change, do you think we're really going to have these free and fair elections, or do you think we should hope and have a perfect elections?
Well, I'm happy to say that he would give us a free and fair election.
I like the fact that you quoted him, you called his name.
Yes, he said he will give us free and fair election, and not only that, he equally said when he came on board.
Your volume is very low. Can you speak out?
Okay, can you hear us now, barrister? Can you hear us?
I can hear you, but your volume is now low. Your volume has gone low.
Oh, okay, so I just hope that our crew would do justice to that. But let's see what we can do with what we have for now. Barrister, do you think that Amupitan, a professor of law, saying that we might not have a 100% credible election, that is, if I might paraphrase that, is an indictment on his person and his status?
That what is an indictment on
him as the chairman of INEC at this
point? No. I don't think that's an indictment. That's see, should he promise 100% perfection when we have likelihood that when you have a even the Electoral Act has envisaged likelihood of network having issues in some areas. Yeah. Even though there are people that want to exploit that. It's not an indictment. It's preparing people's mind, like letting them know that they need to manage their expectations. You don't want to put their expectations up there. I said it before, that it's better to be realistic with the facts on ground. It's better to be realistic with the facts on ground rather than to try to claim to be in control and in charge of everything and you are not. So it's a realistic statement. It's not an indictment that this voting is the journey. We'll get to a point where you can promise 100%, but as it stands now, there may be hitches here and there. There's no perfect election anywhere in the world. Even the court recognizes that. That is why the court does not judge the outcome of election on the basis of perfection. It judges it on the basis of non-compliance with the Electoral Act. That's what non-compliance. That's what it judges. Every election, all elections cannot be perfect. So if you want to sit down and say, from logistics to the human elements to the persons coming to exercise their civic responsibility, to the community itself. Yes. You know that there are some communities in this country where you go and vote, they'll tell you that you are from this tribe, you can go back.
Are you still there, barrister?
What will Amupitan do? What will he do in that case? There are places where the communities where they want to have this election, people will bring out generator and help them charge batteries and all that. There are communities that will not bring out anything. There are communities that will chase INEC officials away and carry the ballot boxes and go and complete by themselves. So these are the things they're talking about. Area boys will come. You understand?
Yes.
In some places, there will be outright violence. In some places, politicians will orchestrate violence. So those are the underlying factor that it's talking about.
All right, so those are the areas he's talking about. Because the barrister, the reason why we want to be a bit optimistic is that historically, if you take a look at where we are currently, from where we were coming from, First Republic, we had well, it might not be that perfect, but Nigerians at the time were happy with the person they saw and that was given as prime minister. Second Republic, Shehu Shagari, Nigerians at the time were quite excited. MKO Abiola, Third Republic, Nigerians voted in mass. Even if it wasn't that perfect, Nigerians knew that MKO Abiola was the one they voted for. But a situation where in the 2023 general elections, legitimacy is still a problem, even up until today. Don't you think that is a cause for concern for reasons why Nigerians will think they need maybe 99.9% perfection in our elections?
Yes, you see, the 2023 election was a clear case of robbery, okay, a conspiracy that happened between the then INEC chairman and the APC government. And in the dead of the night, they ushered in a government that took the innocence of the Nigerian citizens. And ever since that day, till today, the life of Nigerians have never remained the same. It was a civilian coup, a bloody one, that has shattered the lives of everyone. Okay, so that's given. You understand? And that government hasn't made any attempt to improve on the electoral system. All it did is to change the umpire, which you ought to do because the umpires set you as a lamb. So right now, they are taking electoral reform with a pinch of salt. In fact, if not that the people had to protest, they will not even get to this level where they will got to. National Assembly delayed the whole process to ensure that it dragged so that they will not use that and all that. Eventually, it became an act, 2016 act, 2026 act, and here we are. So, for me, Amupitan is even saying much. It's even saying too much for me because the government is working on that. Does not believe in electoral reform. They believe in things the way they are now. Because they are unpopular, things are now. It's better for them to re-emerge. Now for them to go and start heavy reform that will tighten up what budget. If they are people that did not contest the primaries and they became the Senate president, that we want to tighten up the electoral process to make that not to happen again for him. Or who? How many of these persons who are not the lawmakers got here by merit? How many of them have certificates, have results? How many of them went to school? So if you want to carry heavy reform, you want them to carry heavy reform, none of them will qualify at the end of the day. Including the president, the House certificate scandal. So this government, all they did was also change the umpire and then did a cosmetic attempt on amendment to feel like there's electoral reform. There's no electoral reform. The attitude of the people is still the same. Look at the Abuja local council election. Was it different from any of the elections we had before in the past? No, it wasn't different. It was about vote by massive. As about politicians parading from one polling unit to the other, interfering with the system, interfering with the process. Even when the same electoral act says that it's wrong to interfere with the process, they did. Leaders are emerging. Losers are heading to court as we speak. So, see, it does not matter whether it's Amupitan that is there or not. The conduct of the people, their willingness their desire for change, if it's not there, that's going to have problem. That you can even find tools, human tools to use to obliterate the system is the real indictment. That people are ready to be used, people are ready to be paid and be used to obstruct the process, to foil the electoral process and produce very wicked and bad leaders is a real indictment. So the indictment is not about the statement made. The indictment is that, unfortunately, in 2026, we still have people who want to be used to truncate the electoral process and thereby producing leaders that will take us backward. That's the real indictment.
It's actually quite sad. President Bola Tinubu and the presidency said that if the opposition feel they are not happy with everything that has been done, Electoral Act amendment, what Amupitan is talking about, they should do two things. It's either they boycott the election or they go to the courts.
So are they trying to give us what might happen ahead?
Of course, that's what they're saying. So if they are not happy with all the things happening, they should either boycott the elections, not participate in the elections, or like they usually say, go to the courts. And you know who owns the court?
I know, right?
Yes.
I think we'll just wait and see. But then we should also carry out our responsibility as a citizen to vote. Yes. You understand?
All right, so that is what it is. We must definitely, respect our civic responsibility.
Yeah.
If you have your voter's card, come the general elections and all the elections coming, please do well to participate in it. Don't say because Amupitan is saying there would be 100% elections, therefore you would not participate and feel that your votes would not count. Just do what you have to do. Like Seun Okinbaloye will say, vote and leave the rest for me. Vote and leave the rest for me.
Our minister.
Yes. So thank you so very much, Barrister. We truly do appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, that's our time for today. We'd love to say thank you to you for making this a date wherever it is you've streamed from around the world. We say thank you. Please do well to follow us. You can read up on everything we've talked about today when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us, share, download, if you may, when you visit us at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry.
And I'm Kendi Bodun.
Have yourself a splendid start of the weekend. God bless you.
God bless Nigeria. Bye for now.